Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11. Families celebrate the first day of hunting season with the 4th annual Buck Pole in downtown Alpena. The Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Alpena celebrates their 4th annual Sweets and Shopping Vendor and Crafter Show. And people of all ages gather at the Besser Museum for a hands-on science experience. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. The news that affects you starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between. This is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. We are your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Neil Liwanag. Today was officially the first day of hunting season here in Northeast Michigan, and in downtown Alpena, people in the area celebrated the 4th annual Alpena Buck Pole. This annual event consisted of hunters bringing in their deer for an opportunity to win $350. In addition, for a chance to win some big money, the Buck Pole also included free food, coffee, and cookies for people to enjoy. The 4th annual Alpena Buck Pole is a great way for families to get together and celebrate our area's rich tradition.
This is our culture, and this is our heritage, and we need to be open to everybody's culture and heritage, and this is ours. And so I think when people come to Buck Poles, this is something that they remember as a child and did with their parents and their grandparents.
The winner of the 4th annual Buck Pole was Eric Anderson of Alpena. With the holiday season already in full effect, the First Presbyterian Church will be hosting their 2nd annual Christmas Bazaar, and they invite everyone to come out and celebrate. Along with the bazaar, there will also be a luncheon, and tickets are $8 for adults and $5 for children under 12 years old. Each lunch ticket will include one free raffle ticket where people can get a chance to win Christmas gift baskets, handmade items, and other prizes. The bazaar will also include a bake sale, and this fundraiser will help to improve the church.
We are in the process of trying to reupholster our pew chairs, our pew seats, and so we're hopeful that we can raise enough money to at least get some of them done.
The 2nd annual Holiday Bazaar is on Saturday, November 28th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tickets are now available, and please call 989-354-3381 for more information. The Emmanuel Lutheran School in Alpena held the 4th annual Sweets and Shopping Vendor and Crafter Show. This one-of-a-kind, one-stop shop included numerous types of unique arts and crafts for people to enjoy and buy. Shoppers were treated with complimentary coffee, tea, sweets, and free childcare was also available. The 4th annual Sweets and Shopping Vendor and Crafter Show included numerous vendors such as Origami Owl, Linen World, and doTERRA. Every year, the parent-teacher organization hosts this event to help support the school's various programs, and today was no different.
The proceeds this year are actually going to the Emmanuel Church Youth Group, and they're planning a mission trip to New Orleans this year. So we have some of the youth here helping out, and so they'll be earning their way to go to New Orleans.
The Emmanuel Lutheran School would like to invite everyone to come out to their Christmas program at the school on Christmas Eve. The show starts at 5 p.m. Children and their parents joined together to take part in various science activities at the Besser Museum. Shout Eureka program is spearheaded by Patrick and Karen Pokorski as a way to show children and adults that science can be fun. The program consisted of learning about the center of mass, and children and their parents participated in many experiments involving the topic. Through various grants from the Alpena Youth and Recreation, Shout Eureka helps kids to think outside the box and learn the basics of science.
They got to put on their thinking caps. We don't tell them all the answers. They have to walk through each one of the scientific experiments, make a hypothesis, and then is their hypothesis correct or not? And what we try to teach them is, if your hypothesis isn't correct, it's all right to be wrong. Just learn from your mistakes.
If you'd like more information about Shout Eureka, please call 989-595-6695 or email them at shouteureka@outlook.com. This weekend, ladies of the Auxiliary Knights of Columbus hosted the 4th annual Arts and Crafts Show in Alpena. Numerous vendors from throughout the state came out to today's annual Arts and Crafts Show and sold various types of items to the public. The 4th annual Arts and Crafts Show featured quality goods, gift baskets, assorted handcrafted materials, jewelries, and a bake sale. In conjunction with the tremendous items for sale, there was also a concession stand which included burgers, hoagies, and homemade soup. The Ladies Auxiliary of the Knights of Columbus feel this is a special event because it helps bring people together.
I think it's the friendliness of the people that are here, and people like to come here. The vendors are treated good, so they like to come back. And we have most of them here. Most of them are return people this year.
The Knights of Columbus are already looking forward for next year's 5th annual Arts and Crafts Show. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, in state news, police are looking for a man after an apparent murder in Midland County. Plus, find out why Apple is looking to drop a beat. All that and more next. Welcome back. In state news, police are already looking for a man after an elderly woman was discovered dead inside her burning home in Midland County's Greendale Township. At about 3:15 p.m. on Friday, the woman was the victim of an apparent homicide, and investigators believe her home was set on fire intentionally. 46-year-old Gregory Allen Rose, recently paroled from a 30 to 60-year sentence for armed robbery and criminal sexual conduct, is currently wanted for absconding, parole, and aggravated assault. He is described by police as being 6'2", about 260 pounds, with blonde hair and green eyes. Michigan State Police report he may have fled the area in a white 2004 Ford Escape, which is missing from the house set on fire. Rose is considered armed and dangerous. If seen, do not approach him. Call 911 immediately. Crime Stoppers of Michigan is offering $2,500 for information leading to Rose's arrest and conviction. You can call them with anonymous tips by dialing 1-800-SPEAK-UP. In your Money Watch, Apple has announced it is shutting down Beats Music, the streaming service the tech giant bought for $3 billion last year. Users can transition to Apple Music, launched in June. Apple will cancel all subscriptions to Beats on November 30th. The country's first USDA-certified organic fast food restaurant has opened its doors in a San Francisco suburb. The Organic Coop says 95% or more of its ingredients come from certified organic growers and farmers serving chicken, breads, and even sodas. Owners aim to open 25 more locations in the next 14 months. And you don't have enough purple in your life? Jeep is unveiling a special edition Wrangler Backcountry offered in, quote, extreme purple. The Backcountry is based on a Sahara model, but with 17-inch wheels and unique decals. And yes, they all come in purple. Jeep hopes the limited edition will be more attractive to city dwellers. Of course, there are less vibrant colors available, including blue, black, white, and gray. If you're heading to the pump, GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan helped us find the highest and lowest gas prices locally and across the state. The lowest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $2.10 at Meyer. The highest is $2.13 at Marathon. Across the state, the lowest price at the pump is $1.71 in Houghton, and the highest price is coming in at $3.09 in Trenton. There's still much more to come on WBKV News at 11. Kyle Logan will be in with sports, and I'll be right back with your full weather forecast. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us. It is now time for a look at the weather. Today your high was at 60 degrees with a low of 40 degrees. Your normal high is 43 degrees and your normal low was 29 degrees. Record high back in 2001 was 65 degrees and your record low back in 1933 was negative 6 degrees. Sunrise was at 7:32 a.m. and sunset was at 5:05 p.m. Looking at your current conditions right now, it's currently 36 degrees outside with a humidity of 88%. Winds, none. And look at your radar. It is absolutely clear with no clouds in sight. But will this continue? Well, tonight it'll be mostly clear, but we'll see some fog after 1 a.m. Temperatures in the upper 30s with calm winds. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high near 50, with winds increasing to 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy with a steady temperature in mid-40s. Southeast winds at 10 miles per hour. And now taking a look at our extended weather forecast. Tuesday, partly sunny skies with highs in the lower 50s. Wednesday, breezy, showers likely with highs in the upper 50s. Thursday and Friday, we'll get a break from the rain with partly sunny skies. And then Saturday, a chance of snow showers with a high in the upper 30s. And now it's time for today's Photo of the Day. Today's photo was sent in by Angie Skiba of Alpena. Now, this is a photo Angie took of a sunrise in Alpena. What a beautiful sunrise. It reminds me of that Beatles song. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Thank you, Angie, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com. In your Health Watch, new research from the American Heart Association links alcohol abuse to a 70% increased risk of congestive heart failure. Researchers say the link is especially strong among adults under 60 and those without high blood pressure. A new study finds a diet rich in potassium may help people with type 2 diabetes. Researchers in Japan say higher levels of potassium are linked to a slower decline in kidney function and fewer cardiovascular complications. And if you have trouble letting go of work after you leave for the day, you're not alone. A new study finds employees with unfinished tasks worry the most. Researchers in Indiana found workers who wrote down where, when, and how they would complete a task had less worrying. In international news, the death toll of the terrorist attacks in Paris has climbed to 129. Police now say there were 8 attackers. One remains on the run. Kenneth Craig reports in Paris.
Exploding firecrackers sent people running for cover at the Place des Républiques in Paris on Sunday. Mourners were gathered at a memorial for the victims of Friday's deadly attacks when chaos erupted.
It's terrifying. We don't know if we should be afraid and stay home, or if it's now a resistance to go out in Paris. It's crazy.
There was a near stampede as people ran inside a restaurant for safety. Near Notre Dame, people attending a memorial service panicked when they saw police with guns drawn running around them. This woman compares Paris to Beirut, Jerusalem, and Tel Aviv, saying now we have to get used to the idea that these things can happen.
Despite the panic, many Parisians are determined to fight the fear and refuse to change their daily lives.
It's been kind of an emotional roller coaster of ups and downs.
Investigators believe 3 of the 8 attackers were French citizens. A manhunt is underway right now to find one suspect who is still on the run. The terrorists attacked a concert hall, cafes, and France's national stadium. Some security experts say the massacre was well organized and sophisticated.
These guys are communicating via these encrypted apps, right? The commercial encryption, which is very difficult, if not impossible, for governments to break.
French military officials say airstrikes are underway on ISIS targets in Syria.
French officials say the airstrikes destroyed a jihadi training facility and munitions dump in Syria. The Democratic candidates for president returned to the campaign trail today after last night's debate. In the second matchup, Hillary took some heat from her opponents. Weijia Zhang has the latest from Iowa.
Hillary Clinton met with supporters right after Saturday's debate in Iowa.
Thank you all for making this such an exciting and successful campaign.
The Democratic presidential debate.
The former Secretary of State was the first to field questions about foreign policy after the attacks in Paris.
We have to look at ISIS as the leading threat of an international terror network.
Clinton entered Saturday's debate with a strong lead in the polls, and her opponents made a point to go after the frontrunner. Senator Bernie Sanders questioned the campaign cash he's received from big business.
Why do they make millions of dollars of campaign contributions? They expect to get something. Everybody knows that.
He has basically used his answer to impugn my integrity.
CBS News teamed up with Twitter for the debate, encouraging viewers to post their thoughts using the hashtag #DemDebate. Twitter tracked which candidates were talked about the most and the most popular topics.
So you saw a lot of conversation about gun issues. You saw a lot of conversation about Wall Street.
Former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley's most talked about moment came when he attacked a candidate from the other party.
And let's say it in our debate, because you'll never hear this from that immigrant bashing carnival barker Donald Trump. The truth of the matter is,
all three candidates celebrated their debate performance.
I feel very, very good about the debate.
Now it's time for voters to decide.
The next Democratic debate will be held December 19th in Manchester, New Hampshire. Sports is coming up next, and Kyle Logan is here with a preview. Kyle?
Neil, tonight in sports, the Lions fresh off a bye in Green Bay. Lots going on in the world of NASCAR, and the Alpena Flyers were back at Northern Lights Arena, closing out their weekend against the Marquette Royals. To see how it went down, you have to come on back. Sports is next. Saturday night, a victory over the Kalkaska Rhinos put an end to the Flyers' 7-game losing streak. Move ahead to Sunday, momentum on their side. In front of the home faithful, Alpena was set to welcome in the Royals from Marquette. First meeting this season between the Flyers and the Royals, we move to the second period, 2-1 Royals, and their offense explodes. Just under 3 minutes left, beautiful passing from Marquette. Jason Dahlquist over to Ryan Eli to Sam Windenbaum for the goal, and the Royals lead by 2. Just 20 seconds later, Eli with the puck passes it back to Dahlquist, who was able to find just enough room near post for the goal, and it's now 4-1. And wouldn't you know it, less than a minute later, Royals on the power play. Tyler Boone gets it to Austin Wren, the quick pass to Dahlquist, and he finds the back of the net again, and it's a 4-goal game. Early third, the Flyers would bounce back. Rhett McDonald, he's going to steal the puck, keep it, and the beautiful slap shot's going to find the back of the net. The Flyers would cut the deficit to 3 and even tack on one more, but soon after, the offense was unable to muster any more goals, and the Flyers are unable to make it 2 in a row, falling 5-3. The Flyers went 1-1 this weekend, and the head coach was pleased with what he was able to see.
We played 5 great periods out of the 6, so I'm pretty happy. We just had that 4-minute letdown this weekend. It was a great weekend for us, good building weekend. Our power play's rolling, so I'm pretty excited for next weekend against Motor City.
The Flyers will now attempt to take the good from these last 2 games and have a good week of practice before they get back out on the ice next Saturday night against the Motor City Hawks. The Detroit Lions are currently seen as one of the bottom feeders in the NFL. The 1-7 start led to the firing of both the general manager and team president during the bye this past week. But despite the troubles, head coach Jim Caldwell still in high spirits with the belief that this team can turn their season around. On Sunday, the Lions were in Lambeau to meet the Packers. The Lions hoping to give the Packers their 3rd straight loss this season. It was 3-3 going into the half, and we'll pick things up with the kickoff to begin the 3rd. Rookie running back Amir Abdullah back to receive deep in the end zone, but no intentions of taking a knee. Abdullah with a lot of running room, a huge lane, and his blockers do what they're supposed to do. Amir is able to get through untouched, and he's off to the races. He would be hawked down, though, by Micah Hyde at the 1-yard line, but he sets up his offense with the best field position they could possibly have. A couple plays later, Stafford, he's going to roll out right side, and there he would find Eric Ebron for the score. Matt Prater, he would miss the extra point, but Detroit leads 9-3. Now move to the fourth quarter, less than 2 to go, 18-10 Lions. Rodgers not done yet. Here he is able to find Justin Perillo just across the goal line. Following the missed two-point conversion afterwards, the onside kick would ensue, and it's a good one, but Calvin Johnson with a chance, the leap, and it goes in and out of his hands. The Packers recover, and they would get one last chance. After a few plays, Mason Crosby would get the chance from 52 yards out for the win, but it's not even close. The Lions get their first win inside Lambeau since 1991, and afterwards the head man talks about the huge win.
We had a lot of gritty, tough play. The numbers aren't going to look great from an offensive standpoint, but I think we played good complementary football, got a big fourth down that we needed. And, you know, overall, I think our guys certainly performed well.
The Lions will now bring their 2-7 record back to Detroit and Ford Field, where a showdown against the Oakland Raiders awaits them next Sunday. It's crunch time for the Sprint Cup boys, with Sunday marking the final race before the championship four go at it next week at Homestead. A long day in Phoenix, the race was scheduled to begin at 2:30, but thanks to the rain, the green flag would not drop until 9:30. That race still ongoing, but just in case you forgot, let's take a look at where the points sat going into tonight. Jeff Gordon sitting on top. Of course, he is the only driver of the win so far in the round of 8, and he's the only driver currently locked into next week. Behind him is Kyle Busch in second, Kevin Harvick in third, and Martin Truex Jr. in fourth. Those four are currently in. The four on the outside looking in: Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, and Joey Logano. 7 drivers entered this race knowing a win was vital, so keep your eyes peeled for the final standings before the final race next week. Now your updated look at the Xfinity Series standings. They were at Phoenix as well, but on Saturday, Chris Buescher still the points leader despite the 13th place finish. Chase Elliott sits 18 points back in second. He gained a couple points after a top 5 finish. Behind them is Ty Dillon in third, 22 points back. Regan Smith 24 points back in fourth, and Elliott Sadler is in fifth. The Xfinity Series will also conclude next week at Homestead. And Neil, one more score to report. The Michigan State women's basketball team, they got out on the court for the first time tonight against Western Michigan, and they beat them 78-40, so a big win for them. And as always, the AP poll came out today, Neil. Michigan State moved up from 14th to 9. Michigan, they moved up from 15 to 14. But I think the standings that everyone cares a little bit more about is the playoff standings on Tuesday. So, you know, a lot happening in football, a lot of upsets this past weekend, so that's really going to make a lot of changes happen on Tuesday. Absolutely, and it's nice to see the Lions get their first win in Lambeau in a long time, since what, 1991 you said? Yeah, no, a big win, and you know, with the Packers being 6-2, the Lions just 1-7 entering this game, a big upset for them and a really big win for Caldwell. All right, well, thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Neil. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, we'll tell you why this tree from Canada is getting a lot of social media attention. Find out next. Welcome back. A video of a forest carpet in Canada breathing like a snoozing giant is getting a lot of attention online. Bryden Nuttall was out for a walk on a breezy day in Apple River, Cumberland County, when he came across an unusual sight and pulled out a cell phone. In the video, the forest floor heaves like it's breathing. The video has garnered more than 3 million views from online spectators. However, what's really going on is less mystical, but no less dramatic. Tree roots spread out wide underneath the forest floor have detached from their moorings. The root systems heave under the ground when the trees are caught by wind, making them appear to breathe. I think the first thing I would think is an earthquake. Obviously from California, I'm like, what's going on? Is it an earthquake? I mean, for some people that kind of tips into their fantasy land that a tree might be coming to life, or there might be something under the tree living there. So I think, you know, a lot of factors could come into play, and certainly a lot of people's imagination could run wild with that, but it really just, Depends. I think it's just, nature working at its finest.
It's Mother Nature, I would think so.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so mystical. But remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
Well, that will do it for tonight's show. Wake up with Erica Fernandez tomorrow morning at 6:30. Good night, everybody.